Hello ladies and gentlemen, Insane Frame here, welcome to the channel. First things first, I just want to say thank you to everyone watching the content. It means a lot and it's really kind of you. So with that done, I've got a nice little special challenge today. Today is Fallout 4's. It has had a big update, yes. But today's the day we're going to go back into the power armor and we're going to see if we can beat Fallout 4 using only paintrain. How paintrain works is you sprint towards a target using power armor and you stagger them whilst dealing damage. This is the only way we can deal damage other than jumping off buildings and ricocheting with shockwaves and all that good stuff. And yeah, it's going to be very limiting. The downsides are we can't attack with anything and the enemies can continuously attack us. Eventually, we're going to break our armor, so we'll require resources to maintain it as well. And we'll need a power armor station to make the repairs. Also, fusion cores aren't too difficult to come by, but they are very precious early game, so that is something to consider. And our damage will be straight up terrible until we get paintrain rank 2. I'll probably side with the Brotherhood of Steel since the developer taxi service is going to be essential. So with all that out the way, let's get on with the rules. We may only attack mid-fight with the paintrain perk. No glitch or exploits, no cheating or modding, and we're going to be playing on survival level difficulty. Very straightforward, so let's go ahead and start the run and become a car bumper in Fallout 4. We start on out in the pre-war cutscene. I decide to make Nate have long hair and he is now a handsome fellow. Nora looks like she approves, so we get our coffee and switch it out for tea. I'm sure Todd wouldn't mind and Voltec cool, but we can decide our stats. Now this is actually quite unusual since we need 10 strength to get paintrain, obviously, and we need to get some endurance so we can absorb some damage at least, and lastly we decide to get luck and intelligence so we can add bloody mess to get some damage improvements, and intelligence will make our fusion cores last longer, eventually at least, when we get the nuclear physicist perk. We name ourselves the legendary Piston from Borderlands. He will now redeem himself in the universe of Todd. We go ahead, run to the vault door, do our thing, and for once say goodbye to our loaf of bread son. Of course, Kellogg says hello, so hello Kellogg, but now we get to the game and what you've been waiting for. We can't kill the red roaches since we're not allowed to deal damage without power armor, so we lock them damn doors. The couple of rad roaches next to Pip-Boy get the same treatment, so we can hide and open the vault, so we're all good. To make this challenge fair, when we exit the vault, we store all of our equipment in a chest to let us start from scratch. This is to keep things fair and something I'm doing more in recent runs. So we need Sean's special book as well. I decide to go for intelligence since we need to hit level 2 ASAP. Also we speak to Codsworth and he decides it's a good idea to look for Sean and Nora around Sanctuary. So Codsworth leads the way, he kills a few krillers, allowing us to harvest them. And we also need to get some hardware, so it's over to the robotics disposal ground where we find one fusion core. We also use the sentry bot to patrol the area and clear any threats, and it does a fantastic job at this. But we can then make it self-destruct, so we grab another 2 fusion cores from nearby and we have our first cell of power armor, allowing us to move around. But since we're still at level 1, we can't attack. But fear not, ladies and gentlemen, we're near Concord, so Preston saves the day since he kills the forces around us and the Freedom Calls quest levels us up. So now we can spec into paintrain and we can attack by charging our enemies. Simply wonderful. We are now a walking, talking fairground dodger, I guess. It's then the tradition of going over to Trudy's and dealing with Wolfgang and Simone. I have to say our damage isn't great, but it's passable at the very least, but it's yeah. Trudy does the heavy lifting for us, naturally, since our damage is terrible, and we level up. Go Aquaboy at level 3. This is basically going to save us early game, since Aquaboy is just a fantastic early game perk. On our way, we get Tales of a Jungtown Jerky Vendor. It never escapes us, it constantly shows up in these runs, and it does give us better prices. And after a bit of sleep at Bunker Hill, it's time for some swimming. So we begin, and we swim very far, so much so we get to this boat, and the boat has a fat man on it and some loot. But most importantly, it has a bobblehead that gives us +1 luck, giving us a total of 5 luck. We also have a level up, so we go ahead and give ourselves +1 charisma. So we're at 2 charisma. We want Lone Wanderer since that will really help us out since it's a top tier perk in survival difficulty. And we carry on swimming and we manage to get to the Atom Cats. Oh yes, these guys have some serious hardware for us. We decide to pick up an extra fusion core since we can't have too many of these. Rowdy then trades us a piece of Atom Cat T60 armor. Well, thank you very, very much, Rowdy. The Atom Cats send us to the pump station and we fix it, no problem. And then when we come back, the gunners attack the Atom Cats. Now this is what I was counting on since they have laser weaponry, which is worth quite a lot actually. The Atom Cats do all the fighting whilst we sip water and watch. And then we sweep in, scavenge the battlefield for more caps, and Rowdy has the last piece of our T60 power armor. So it's back to swimming again, and this thing weighs a ton, but we managed to get back to Bunk Hill, ready to move once again after getting some medical supplies, as these are extremely useful and it helps an awful lot in survival difficulty. We go up against some raiders, and well, as you can see, these are just regular raiders, nothing special about them, and it takes a while to hurt them. That is because paintrain has a 6-second cooldown to ram into enemies. It does stagger them, however, so it's okay in melee, but the damage is, like I said earlier, terrible. Wouldn't be a challenge otherwise, people, so we decide to go ahead, keep smashing into the raider, and before you know it, we level up to level 5, and I decide to get +1 charisma. No surprises there. So we can get Lone Wanderer next level, since it's so damn good. We look around, and it's not long before we head to Diamond Silly and bulldoze more doggos, but it's okay, they're evil doggos, not like the absolute amazing fluff that is dog meat. And Piper's here, but we park up our power armor and go straight into Diamond City, and we trade everything to resupply. But there's a little thing we can do here. So we head over to Piper, do her interview, we answer with anger and let everyone know that we think, albeit abrasively, and we level up. So we get Lone Wanderer rank 1, we take 15% less damage and get 50 carry capacity. We sleep at the Dugout Hotel, and then we decide to go to the Boston Library. We get the intelligence bobblehead, raising our intelligence up to 8, so we're making gains, and also there's a lot of loot around thanks to the security dealing with the super mutants. It is simply marvellous. Their loot sells for a pretty penny, since we have our clothing giving us charisma along with a Gwyneth Stout. We sell it all for a premium, letting us afford 2 more fusion cores, so we don't have to worry about lack of fusion cores. Since our armor is decent and we can be a dodge 'em, we go to the Triggermen. It's actually not as bad as I thought, since we can just run into everybody, slamming into them like a true bumper car, as we are Piston after all, and he has found his calling. It gets even better. Adrenaline gives a damage boost. This is a unique perk in survival difficulty, as if we kill someone, we get +5% damage. So, with us destroying the Triggermen, we use rudeness of all things, the opposite of manners. I know, a first on this channel, but we are Piston the Dodgem people. It's then time for a trip back to the marketplace, and we can't fast travel, so we have to walk. I really don't like this mechanic in survival mode. It's a huge pain, but we do get a level up, so we go for Fortune Finder rank 1. We can find bottle caps and containers. It will help getting our materials and fusion cores. But it's time to venture back into the Triggerman hideout, and we saved a Nuka-Cola Quantum for this next part. So we chip away at the Triggermen by ramming into them like Rhydon from Pokemon. And after a couple of them fall, we go to the main area and parkour towards the exit. So everyone rolls in, we pop the Nuka-Cola Quantum so we can start regenerating our health. And we ram them into the jaws of Oblivion, and it works out well. We sleep in the sleeping bag and move forwards. Dino, of all people, is our next opponent. He has more health than most of the other Triggermen, so we repeatedly run into him. He can't really do anything, and we very, very quickly deal with him, get the password, go to the terminal, and we unlock the gate. We grab the bobblehead, giving 100 extra caps to all merchants in the world, as well as seeing Valentine. Hello, Valentine. With Valentine free, the rest of the Triggermen aren't actually that difficult, since Valentine is actually a really nice damage boost with his pipe revolver, and we can stagger enemies, so it makes for a very, very nice combo. Also, as a side note, we get outstandingly awesome tails, so we get a +5 action points. This will help us run around. It's not much, but it is something, so something to note. And we easily dispatch the Triggermen since they focus on Nick, and yeah, it goes pretty smoothly. The Skinny Malone fight, however, I decide to walk away, and unbeknownst to me, they just start open firing, so we ram like we've never rammed before. It's a pretty tough fight, the toughest one thus far, but we take out Darla and Skinny's bodyguards with ease. Now it's down to Skinny himself. He has a lot of HP. I cannot wait till we're level 24 to get rank 2 of Paintrain, but Skinny gets into a circuit. We use the pillars, he picks around one side, we charge in the opposite side to deal damage. Once Skinny has had enough and he pancakes in the floor, we go topside and we speak to Valentine. He invites us to come to his office, so we agree, but better yet, we level up. So we get rank 2 of Fortune Finder, so we can find more bottle caps in containers, as it's just an awesome perk to have to get some loose change while exploring, so why not? When we get back to Diamond City, we go see Nick, and he sits us down and interviews us. Kellogg Cornflakes, the dastardly bowl of cereal, is mentioned. Anywho, we go to Nick and we get in the super not so secret switch, being this is on YouTube, but jokes aside, Kellogg's secret room has been revealed, and he has some really good stuff in there for us, and we do indeed sleep in Kellogg's old house. It's free lodging after all, and we can save 10 caps here and there. We arrive at Fort Hagen, and it goes about as well as you'd expect, since we are Piston, the armoured car bumper, so we can only throw ourselves into things using paintrain. It works out kind of for the most part. It does take a while to kill the forces by using paintrain, and I will admit it is a huge headache at times, but opening and closing doors from the art of manners turns out to be overpowered, so then all we have to do is do the unthinkable and barge into them. Rudeness and manners somehow make a very, very potent combo. I'm not sure how though. But yep, desperate times call for desperate measures, people. So I decide to heal on up, but we do the very desperate tactics of manners and continuously charge the enemy whilst being polite and closing the door behind us. It works fantastically, but the last guy doesn't really get the message, as we just charge him, close the door, charge him, close the door. We level up to level 10, so we decide to get Bloody Mess rank 2, giving us 10% more damage across the board. Something we really need. And it's about to get a lot worse since we go through Kellogg's living accommodation, and thankfully there are lots of beds to sleep in. The Kellogg fight though is the longest fight I've ever done with Kellogg, since we do so little damage and Kellogg decides to keep healing with Stimpack. It's very annoying, and we burn a whole fusion core in this fight. That's how long this took. So we keep bashing Kellogg, keep him in the naughty corner, aka his bathroom, and he eventually escapes and throws a tantrum. So we make him stay in his room and just keep destroying him until eventually, after a marathon of ramming Kellogg, he goes down. That was a very long battle and the most difficult Kellogg fight, but it's over. The Brotherhood airship then appears outside, and our friends are here to save the day. So we then make headway back to Diamond City, get more fusion cores since we'll be running around a lot. Next, it's time to head back to Nick Valentine's little operation, and we see Piper here. And then eventually, we come across the memory den. In the memory den, Dr. Amari gets Nick hooked up to a machine, and we get into Kellogg's memories. We get to the end, and of course, the courser says the name.
Rogue. Name's Dr. Brian Virgil.
We do some more ramming and charging, so Piston the car bumper is doing great. Dance invites us in, we do some looting, and I kid you not, there are 8 fusion cores in the basement. Like, what the hell? This is simply beautiful, I say. And we have 2 level ups, so I decide to spec into +1 intelligence and get nuclear physicist. So radiation weapons do more damage, but the important part is fusion cores last 25% longer. Now that we have that, we run on back to Paladin Dance, sleep in the police station to make sure we're safe, and it's time to get in the power armor to go to ArcJet Systems. Dance is an absolute machine, as he just cuts everything down and pretty much does all the heavy lifting, as most companions do this run. But it is a beautiful sight to behold, and needless to say, this benefits us hugely. Managed to get another fusion core, because why not, and press the button to burn everyone with rocket ship fuel. That's some premium napalm right there, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's so brilliant, is it not? It's fair to say Dance made all this possible though. We get the deep range transmitter since he just guns everybody down in ArcJet Systems, and then once it's all done, he's even such a gentleman to invite us to join the Brotherhood of Steel. It is an amazing day. We ride in a vertibird back at the police station, to which we can't really use the gun on anything, but we're going to go to the Pridwin, which is simply excellent. We see Captain Kells, he's happy. We see Maxon, he is also happy, and he says well done to us. Then it's over to Good Neighbor and we do a side quest for the best Mr. Handy, Whitechapel Charlie, people. He is amazing. And he hires us to go into our old enemies' warehouses and we wipe the floor with the Triggermen. So it is what it is. And when we're done, we hand the quest in to get to level 14. We still got a ways to go, but thank you, Whitechapel Charlie. We decide to get strong back, so plus 25 carry weight. Nothing complicated, but it's simple and effective. Sometimes that is the best option. Next up, the railroad. We we get visited. They have some ghouls in the way, but is not a problem. Paintrain is actually one of the best things to deal with ghouls. So there's no sweat, no fuss, and then we have our exchange with Desdemona, and she's not buying our success. I'm sorry, Desdemona. Deacon then offers us a job, as he is quite a nice guy, and we pass all his speech check. He has been spy on us, but at least we know where we stand and get some extra experience. We resupply at Bunker Hill, a great location, and it's time we head back to our early game area to get some quick experience on the double. So first up is the Terrible Raiders at the Corvergia power plant. They have something we want, so it's off to get them repaired and then huddle ourselves into them, as Piston, the human car bumper, is doing an extraordinary job, as that is his one trick. The Brotherhood of Steel are in the area as well, making this a lot easier since they have a vertibird and a knight on the ground, so we're taking this power plant one way or another. Is not even close, since we can free shot these raiders, so not going to complain there. It's good experience as well, and it's what we're here for, but it goes very nicely, and we even level up, but not before we get ourselves the repair bobblehead. So fusion cores last 10% longer, always nice, and this contrasts very nicely with nuclear physicists. Very, very good. And we also get a perk, nuclear physicist rank 2, so radiation weapons deal more damage, but fusion cores last 50% longer, giving us a total of 60% now. Very, very nice, and fusion cores are no longer a problem now. But it's then time for the Museum of Freedom. The raiders are easy as pie, no real challenge, it's very straightforward, and the perception bobblehead is very, very quickly ours. Preston goes on about his sob story, so we just ignore him and carry on since we are with the Brotherhood of Steel, and then a Brotherhood of Steel patrol comes on by to pretty much clean up here. So Preston now wants to get buddy, but we head off and leave him to it since we need a lot more levels before we face a super mutant behemoth. We do another side quest, thicket excavation, since we have Aquaboy. It's really not difficult. Just follow the pipes and make sure they're squared away, and we just get another 300 XP. See some Mylarks who say hello, but they don't realise we can jump and slam them, so they really didn't pick a good area to fight us, so poor Mylark. But it's more XP gaining around the area, so it's off to the USAF satellite relay. And well, the raiders don't know what to do against a human bumper in hydraulic armour, so it's pretty damn difficult for them. But we are on a redemption arc as the former Borderlands villain in Mr. Torg's campaign, though we hand in the silver locket to Abernathy Farm and head on to the Red Rocket truck stop, and some small infrastructure is built by us, and we get the little bit of the Red Rocket truck stop up and running. We also repair our armour, and we also decide on our perk for our level up. I decide to get Strongback rank 2 so we can carry a plus 50 more carry weight, so we're in really good for our carry capacity, as that is important. With the early areas done, it's time to take Deacon up on his offer to clean out the switchboard. So we go through the front entrance and use Deacon to the fullest. We ram like we've never rammed before, and we clean out the Slocum Joe's donut shop, and we start our gauntlet. And I thought this would be really difficult, but Deacon isn't too shabby in a fight, and we can stagger. Also, there's a lot of place to jump off from, and do an impact landing, a welcome bit of damage for sure. And we charge in, and these guys have a lot of HP, so it's a blessing that Deacon is here to help. Although we are soundly with the Brotherhood, and Deacon has lied to us, so we know what's coming later. But for now, we get a bunch of experience and we're getting loot, and when we get to the vault, it's more ramming and letting Deacon fight, and then we get Tommy's pistol, the Deliverer. We don't want it, but it's worth a few hundred caps, so it's worth a fusion core at the very least. After all this is cleaned up, we walk on over to the North Church. Desdemona and Deacon are talking, so we get invited to join the railroad, and yeah, I guess, yeah. But we find a further 8 fusion cores. Seriously, Todd, what are you doing? Once everything's been sorted, we do level up, so we go ahead and grab Lone Wanderer at rank 2, so we take 30% less damage and can carry an extra 100 weight, both being absolutely amazing. It's then time to go to my favourite place in Fallout 4, and that is the ship, the beauty, the USS Constitution. A real version exists in our world, by the way, so it's pretty cool. But this one is crewed by awesome robots, so we help them out by repairing everything. We repair all the systems, then we have to go to the Poseidon Energy to grab a part. Not the trickiest, and then we go back and see Captain Ironsides, and now we have to get some turbo pump bearings, so experience is kind of hard to come by, But I just decided to go and build a couple of settlements to gain some extra experience. We have a couple of perk points. I decided to spec into rank 2 of science, and we can now get lots of lovely mods for our power armor. And secondly, we decided to get a point in endurance, since more health is fantastic. After getting some supplies, we upgrade our legs to refresh action points whilst we move, and we also do a significant upgrade and get rad scrubbers with our helmet, so any food or drink no longer causes radiation damage. After a little bit of exploring, I go into a random building, the New England Society. So as a British person, it is my job to judge if it's up to scratch. They certainly have carnage and destruction in the form of ghouls attacking in Halloween costume. Not very British, but they're using rudeness and they immediately fail, but we get a lot of XP thanks to a named glowing one resurrecting, and we just continuously jump off the balcony and land for good damage. Paintrain renders them useless since they're staggered, then rinse and repeat, I guess. Eventually they are all done for, since we are a bucket of chems, to quote a familiar ghoul from the Fallout TV series. A door opens, we go down the hallway into 4 individual rooms, each hitting a number. The code upon seeing the rooms is 4346, since the object hints at the clues. In the room, we have a TV for a power armor head. Not sure if there's a set, but a random TV as a head is kind of Looney Tunes. So yeah, good stuff, Todd, I guess. But we complete a quest I didn't even know existed, so yay. Go us, and I will rate this a 7 out of 10 for absolute carnage. Although since you have no tea, it's an immediate fail, and you cannot be British if you do not have tea. Once we're done with that, it's then more stomping around, and eventually I happen upon the combat zone. Since raiders are, not the toughest, but they do yield some XP, and you know the drill by now, and we're done, and it's a 20-minute walk back to our settlements, the Red Rocket Truck Stop and Abernathy Farm. I then decide to clear every little nook and cranny in Lexington to get that little bit of XP. So we finally hit level 23 and we just go for a boring +1 endurance, nothing special, but now we can go to Virgil in the Glowing Sea and finally get the experience we require to get level 24. It's been a journey, but we're almost there and we can now walk through the Glowing Sea, and I don't do any combat, I'm just trying to blindly find Virgil, so it's like the blind leading the blind. We get to the crater and shortly after we get to Virgil's cave. Not even going to fight the Deathclaw, if I'm being very frank with you guys. We just run for our very lives. However, when we get to Virgil's cave, Virgil is pretty cool and points us to kill a courser. So it's running through the Glowing Sea, hoping not to die since we can't fast travel. Needless to say, this is quite intense. But we managed to get out and get to the safety of Diamond City, get back on our feet, and we managed to make our way to the Pridwin and hand in our quest to Tegan, finally hitting level 24. So we grab paintrain rank 2 and we can finally go for Fort Strong after all that side questing and grinding. So let's do this. We finally get rank 2 of paintrain, and to leave you a beat, it really pays off. Our damage is actually not half bad. The super mutants, they don't like us ramming into them, but they get what they get and they are absolutely demolished outside their own fort. We admittedly do have to run around like a little circuit around Fort Strong, but we completely ignore the behemoth for now since it's a terrifying opponent. But inside Fort Strong, we go into a corridor and do much the same thing, and we just run circuits like a marathon and just keep ramming into the super mutants. It's actually really easy to do and I can't really complain here, and we're doing a great job. But our power armor has seen better days, so I decided to go back to the airship, repair our armor, and then actually go get Paladin Dance, as he'll be our ace in the hole here. So he's going to be a distraction against the behemoth. However, he falls in battle, so we have to repeatedly dive off this ledge because we are the cannonball, and it does take a few cannonball dives, so we get the behemoth down, and the hardest part of this challenge is now all done thanks to Dance and a random ledge. So excellent. We bring Dance back to the Pridwin and report to Elder Maxon. He gives us the best reward, hands down, Vertibird signal grenades. These give us the option to fast travel in survival mode. You have no idea how amazing these are. Thank you, Maxon. Here was my reaction. Oh, yes! 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 We immediately use a vertibird grenade and go straight to the Red Rocket truck stop and grab some water and food, repair our armor, and now it's time to strike the gunners. So vertibird in and off we go. We land near Green Tech Genetics and we storm through the gunners. Paintrain rank 2 was absolutely necessary since they have a lot of health, but we hit them like a freight train and is not even close since we just charged through them. We hit level 25, add 1 endurance, we're at a perfect 10 with endurance and all the perks that matter are unlocked. The Corsair is simple, really. We just keep bumping into him and damaging him bit by bit. He reloads, it allows us to deal 1 ram, and then he uses 2 stim packs. Again, not really an issue since we just keep hitting him with our paintrain. He goes down and we get Idiots of Unproc and get a heap of experience. The railroad decode our Corsair chips, so everything is excellent. And Desdemona even compliments us. So thank you, Desdemona. We get a vertibird and God, I love these things. It makes it so much easier to get everywhere. We go to Virgil's and get inside his cave, obtaining the plans for the teleporter, and now we're closing in on Act 3. The vertibird comes and picks us up so we can hand everything in. Maxon is amazing and we level up, so we're level 26. Elder Maxon gives us a mission. He wants Dr. Madison Lee from Fallout 3 back in the fold. So it's teleporting time and well, we get a look at the Institute. They aren't exactly looking villainous, but we know better, so we have to temporarily ward off the villain known as Fake Sean, aka the Child Sim. And we also agree with Father just because we need access to the departments, and as soon as we do, it's over to Bioscience. We go to the old lab, face everything in there, so with our armor we easily get through no problems, and then we get into Virgil's old office, get his holotape, and then we go back to Dr. Lee. She's back on our side, so we manage to get back to topside. We get a vertibird, go straight to Elder Maxon aboard the Pridwin. He's happy, we level up, we get science rank 3, and this is the big one. This means we can install Tesla coils in our power armor. Dr. Eggman would be proud of us. Next mission, actuators for Prime. Actually really easily done, since we already have high-powered magnets courtesy of the merchants in Fallout. Then we get sent to the Glowing Sea to find some Mark 28 nuke. Ingram's word, not piston, so we call a vertibird and they come and fly us out. Scribe Halen gives a distress pulsar, and it's time for us to go into the Pyramid of Doom, aka a 40k Necron hideout, I guess. But we use the vertibird, show up to Virgil and give him his serum. It's the honourable thing to do. And now 40k pyramid time. We're an absolute scourge of the ghouls at this point and melee opponents in general thanks to the Tesla coils. We can destroy them. It doesn't break the rules since we don't attack, and also we're fighting in tunnels, so this is fantastic for us. It's absolutely disgusting what we can do. Then we find Henry & Co. Sort of the same deal here since they can't really take us down since we're pissing the car bumper and they don't know who they're messing with. Although they did come the closest to killing us thus far, so Gulliver giving them credit there, but we did come out on top. After we beat the glowing one and a resurrected legendary ghoul, we place the transmitter and we hail a vertibird and go back to Ingram. Ingram sings our praises and Prime is pretty much almost ready. Then we report to Elder Maxon and he says Dance is a simp. So we go and meet with Prospector Quinlan, and then Halen has the rudeness to interrupt, but she stupidly gives Dance's location. Unorthodox, sure, but now we go and hunt Dance's down. We run on foot to Dance's location from Bunker Hill. There's no location nearby really, so we then eventually get to the bunker and just charge everyone inside. Our Tesla coils are doing awesome damage, allowing us to two-shot the Protectrons whilst absorbing some damage. But Dance poses a problem. We can't kill him unless he's hostile, but he says he'll finish the job if we leave. So we go up the elevator and well, we get a little prompt and he was true to his word. So we take his holotags, call the Brotherhood taxi service, but before that Pyro shows up for some reason, not sure why, but hey, he's got nice looking power armor, so we absolutely demolish him and Pyro doesn't really do that much damage to us, so he's dead very, very quickly. We loot him, take our aircab back to the base, report it to Elder Maxon. He is pleased, and of course, we get the promotion to Paladin, which means we get Dance's power armor. It's pretty damn strong, and this is pretty much our final form. We're ready to shock the Institute. So we go to see Captain Kells. He gives us the perfect field test. So we go knocking on the railroad's front door, and we just absolutely destroy them and pancake them all into the concrete ground. They are not even really putting up a fight at this point. Only Glory can, and she is very quickly dealt with. But we then go to Pam's terminal and use her decoder, and then once Pam's on our side, we vertibird back to the Prydwen and another mission done. We speak with Ingram and it's time for my least favourite mission, the mass fusion building. We gather everything up, rest in a bed and begin our mission. The Institute will hate us, but they haven't really done much for us, so we deploy on in anyway. We go in and gotta say, Ingram, you are a blimming fighter and a half. You go, Ingram. We know the drill by now, and we just smash everyone into the ground. We go down the lift and very rapidly get the circuit breaker. We just ignore everything and continue, and when things are done, well, I decided to have a bit of a dust up in the main lobby because, well, take that Institute since we are a wrecking ball. We head into the basement and grab the beryllium agitator. It's alright since everything turns red, meaning we're doing our job absolutely correctly and totally not tripping the security, but then the sentry bot is deployed and all jokes aside, he is quite the fighter. But we bump into him and decide it's not the best idea to take them head on when they shoot us. We let Ingram take the punishment and get down low and take cover. Once we do enough damage to the sentry bot, it's then time for 2 assaultrons. This is actually not a big deal. They only get a single death beam off and we just ram into them and the Tesla coils once again come in clutch, so it's all good. When Ingram finished off the turrets, we get ourselves over to Swan's Pond and air taxi ourselves back as per usual. We resupply and can finally put the beryllium agitator in Liberty Prime and we're ready to follow Prime and kill the Institute, so we crack on. Prime comes to life and now we are about to destroy the Institute. So we see Prime do his thing. He absolutely destroys everything in his path, and when we get into the Institute's backyard, well, it's already too late for them and the Brotherhood of Steel are on top form, so things are pretty much in the bag now. The invasion of the Institute is very one-sided since the Brotherhood's firepower is amazing and crushes any force, hence why I sided with them this run. They are quite frightening and hit like a freight train. Pun fully intended for the record. It took a lot not to make that joke several times, but hey, here we are. We go into the main area. Maxon and a knight with a minigun clears house stupidly fast, and we sort of do our thing and try and take 2 Institute simps on, but nah, Maxon and Co are already gunning them down, so we don't really need to. We use the override on Father's terminal, get into advanced systems, placing the charge, teleporting out, and seeing the true villain, Fake Sean, yes. But we teleport out, pressing the detonator, ending the run, answering the question, can you beat Fallout 4 in survival difficulty with paintrain? And yes you can. Todd, please let us use fast travel in survival mode. It's painful without vertibirds. There you go, guys. We have beaten Fallout 4 survival mode for the first time, doing the main quest line. I'm going to go ahead and say it was quite an experience. Definitely prefer New Vegas hardcore mode rather than Fallout 4 survival mode, since saving by sleeping and having no fast travel, you definitely feel it, especially when you die and have to replay another hour or two, so yeah. But with that done, the next challenge, we're actually going to do some updated Fallout content. We're going to run around with a Tesla cannon and see what we can do. Yep, you heard that right. We're going to use some of the new weapons and we're going to start just absolutely destroying everybody with it. So I hope you enjoy that. And yeah, that is going to be absolutely fantastic. We'll see how long that'll take. But anyway, I've been Insane Frame. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe if you want to. You know, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ta for now, as I've got to get busy with the challenges. And there's a lot to do. Thank you very much for stopping by. And I'll see you guys next time. This is Insane Frame. Over and out.